Hello class, welcome to the video. What we're going to talk about today is customer-driven marketing strategies. Specifically, we're going to be talking about segmenting the market and targeting and target marketing, which was segmenting is nothing more than breaking it into groups and then choosing a group to market to, basically. All right, so what's a market? A market is basically all the potential buyers. That's your market. So all the potential buyers, if we look at any particular business, all of our potential buyers is everybody in the world. Could be not. But we want to break that up into groups that are more easy to specifically focus on. All right, so we do market segmentation. Now, we're not talking about targeting right now. We're just talking about breaking down into groups. We're looking at this world market or whatever. If realistically we're not dealing with a world market, but a large region or a state or a nation or whatever. We're looking at all the people that are going to buy or potentially buy our products in that market. We're going to look at them all, and we're going to break them up into groups. One of the things why we do this is when we break them up into groups, we're not just saying, okay, alphabetical or something like that, right? We're breaking into the groups that we can identify have different specific needs for the marketing mix. All right. So products are going to be product needs are different for these people than these people. Price points going to be different than these people than this people. Location is going to be different than different. All right. So that's what we're doing. Identifiable marketing mix things that we need to look at for each of these specific segments. All right. Segments could be big, could be small. Some of the segments we're going to talk about is geographic segments. Definitely is the most obvious one, geographic segment. State, town, city, state, nation, region, whatever you want to call it. Then we have demographic. Now the demographic is going to be there's going to be a lot within the demographics. We're going to look at a lot of different things. We're going to look at age and life cycle. That has a lot to do with marketing mixes, all right? Age and life cycle. And there's crossover with that. Life cycle of someone who's a retired person, that also changes their economics demographic, or it influences their economic demographic, right? Okay? So we have gender. That's going to matter. Income segmentation, again, applying to different things, all right? And then we have the psychographic. Well, psychographic's a little different. This is more about personality and lifestyles. If someone is, if we have a segment of adventure seekers, and there is people out there in our larger market that are, especially if we're dealing with tourism, right? And in this industry, we're dealing with tourism, whether it's directly or on the peripheral, all right? So if we're dealing with tourism, identifying a segment of adventure seekers is definitely going to be different than people that are just relaxation seekers, right? So those are some of the segments we want to, that would be a psychosomatic or psychographic segmentation. All right. So we have behavioral. Somebody who goes out, if we're talking restaurants, is somebody who eats out all the time, somebody who eats out for lunch, or goes out to dinner, lots of dates, lots of this, that, anything. So that those kind of behaviors. Okay, so we also want to look at maybe multiple segmentations, right? So let's talk about age segmentation. We segment by maybe not age, but by generation. Now, there's a difference, right? A lot of people don't know this or don't think about this, but there's a difference between an age group and a generation. Okay, so a generation is people that are born between certain periods of time, right? Actual identified time, 1965 to 90 some odd. That's Gen Z. That's my generation. Other generations are different times along through history, right? So age group is 10 to 20 year olds, or 20 to 30 year olds, 30 to 40 year olds. That's different than a generation. Right now, we can apply that age group to a generation, but not in 40 years. 10, 20, Gen Z right now are our young adults, but they won't be in 20, I don't know, 2080. They won't be young adults then, right? So that's why, and you might want to look at those age and things as different segments, all right? All right, now, let's see. I kind of got off on that, but okay, that's what I was getting at. As far as we can multiply different things. So we're looking at now at Gen Z, all right? And in reality, Gen Z is an age group. We're looking at young adults. Now we have young adults that have already graduated college or graduated high school and are in the workforce, and those are still in school. Now, if we're in a college town like Wilmington and we're trying to open up a restaurant and we want to be a hip restaurant, and we want to appeal to Gen Z, are we going we have different segments there, right? We have Gen Z as a segment, but Gen Z college students or Gen Z professionals. There's a difference because their buying habits are different. The way we market to that, the marketing mix for those two is different, right? So by just saying Gen Z, it's a little bit more difficult to address. By Gen Z college students, that is that's a little bit more focused. Okay, so what do we do once we've done the marketing? Our marketing segmentation. We've done segmentation. Now, at this point, all we've done is broken it down. We've looked at the different groups. We looked at those different ways that we can group people and the different needs that they have. We look at it, the marketing mix applies to products and services and price and all that stuff for one segment doesn't appeal to another, or some that appeals to one segment won't appeal to another, and vice versa. Or there might not be directly, there might be some crossover, but not directly. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to look at this and we're going to choose segments that we want to identify and apply our marketing mix to, or create a marketing mix customized towards that segment. Okay, so we're going to look at a lot of different things. We're going to look when choosing. There might be just the fact that this is the product, that this is a vision for our product, and this segment appeals to it, right? But there might be other things that we want to do. We want to look at the segments. We're going to look and see what's their potential for growth, how big they are. If we say, oh, wow, I like this segment because these people like this, this, and this, and this, but we look at it, they're very small, and it's getting smaller by the second because it might be for a certain age or people that are moving out of our market to begin with or whatever. Okay, we want to look at that growth. We want to look at the structural attractiveness. Are they already attracted to who we are as a structure and as a company? All right, and then the company objectives and resources. This is what we're trying to accomplish. Which of these segments is in keeping with our vision, all right, and our resources, right? If it could be a perfect segment that has a lot of potential money, but we just don't have the resources to meet them. Then we have to bypass and let someone else do that one. All right. So how are we going to do this? We could, when we decide how we're going to segment or target, we can look at all the segments and we could just say we're not going to target. We're just going to shotgun our marketing efforts, our marketing mix, and we're just going to shotgun them and see where it lands. Now, some industries, for this, if you're selling toilet paper, I don't know, that's a bad example. Well, maybe it isn't. You're just selling something that everybody's going to buy, period. You can just try to make it as appealing as possible and not worry about the segment. All right. However, it's ineffective in many industries. All right. So you have differentiated marketing. This is coming up with several different targets. We like this one, we like this one, we like this one, or segments, and we're going to target them separately, meaning that I have this one, we're going to create a marketing mix for this one. We have this one, a marketing mix for that one, and this one, a marketing mix for this one. All right. So that is differentiated marketing. Concentrated marketing is just choosing one and trying to get as large a market share of that segment as possible. All right. Now, this works really well when there's an underserved market, there's an underserved segment, maybe because it's difficult to it the needs and wants and the specifics of this segment are so far off what the bigger segments, the large segments want, that people ignore them, right? Because we'd rather go for a 25% market share of this big piece, right? But you might say, hey, nobody's taking care of this segment. Why don't I try to be the company for this segment and get 90%, 100% of the market share of this segment? Yes, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very specific, and we're going to alienate possibly alienate, maybe not, that's a harsh word, but by doing this, we're demonstrating a level of ignoring a bigger segment. But if we get 100% of the market share for this, and we look at the money that they have to spend, and 100% of that market share is enough money for us to be successful on, we do it. All right. Now, that might not work for everybody, but for some people it would, and for some situations it would. All right. So that's all I'm going to talk about in this video. Quickly just talked about segmentation and targeting. There's entire books, entire classes on this, right? So we're just really briefly talking about it. All right. So that's it for this video. I will see you later.